Oh, Pixar, you have fallen so hard on yourself, haven't you? Hey guys, this is Dasha Rose here. I am back to talk about Pixar again, but most certainly I am here to talk about their movies that have gone to the theaters. You see, during COVID, 19 and all that, Pixar was forced to go directly to streaming. But the thing is, though, is people were starting to get upset about this. At first, it seemed like it was fair because, 2020 was a rough year for a lot of people with COVID and all that. And there wasn't people going out to the theaters. But then by 2021 and 2022, Disney was releasing their own movies like Marvel and stuff in the theaters, but not Pixar. Pixar was basically pushed aside. But they released movies like Turning Red and, well, they were going to release Turning Red in the theaters, but they turned around and didn't do it. But they did release Lightyear in the theaters, which was a big middle finger to the people behind not just Pixar, but Turning Red. Because, the people behind Turning Red, were hoping to get a theatrical release. So it felt like Disney, for a while there, really did not care about Pixar. And even to this day, honestly, I don't even know if they still really care about them too much. Because although these movies are getting a theatrical release, they're all getting a theatrical release, which is good, they're hardly advertising them. Yes, they're hardly advertising any of these movies. I didn't even know Soul was in the theaters yet. And I don't even know when it's getting out of the theaters. But it's not doing very well. It really isn't. And part of the reason probably is because it's on streaming already. Honestly, Soul, Luca, and Turning Red were really good movies. They really were. But out of the three, I would have to say probably Soul is my favorite. And then, I probably would go with, I would go with either Turning Red or Turning Red or Luca. Luca's not, it's not really, it's a good story-filled movie, but it's not really something that I care about as much as the other two. It's still a good movie, but I did have more problems with Turning Red, which is why when I reviewed it, I rated it a meh on my channel. If you guys want to check out my, Pixar movie reviews, you guys can. I've done all of them. I've actually reviewed all of them at this point. But yeah, these movies are finally getting their theatrical releases, but no one's really going to them. And I don't know why. I would figure with all the complaints, people would with wanting to see these movies in the theaters, they would want to go to them. But it's probably also because maybe that going to the theaters to watch these movies might be a little expensive. I don't know. And they're already on streaming, and I really don't know. Because, they released, Avatar and all that in the theaters, and that one did well. It didn't do super well, but it broke even, is what it did. It actually hit $2 billion, dollars. It just barely braked it. Which, honestly, in my opinion, I'm kind of questioning if that's the case or not with them, because Disney has been known for hiding their numbers. They've hid their numbers and all that, and they're starting to get in trouble for that stuff. People are starting to catch on, and the reason why I'm not saying it, I want them to have good movies that do well, but the thing is, though, is the fact that it barely broke even is it makes it's a little strange, it's strange for it to just barely break even. And again, I want them to make good movies that do well, but I don't know. I just know like none of their movies last year really did very well either. Right? They all kind of just bombed. Either they made most of their money back, or they made some of it back, but barely broke. They didn't really break, even and all that. So I don't know. I know Elemental, which was a Pixar movie, by the way. It actually did finally make a lot of money in it, but it took a long time because it wasn't advertised very well, and a lot of people did not really care for the movie too much. I actually thought it was okay. I didn't hate the movie, but I didn't like it either. A lot of people, some people are saying it's Pixar's first, romantic film, and I think even Pixar or the people behind it or even Disney was advertising it like that, but that's not true. It wasn't Pixar's first, romantic thing. They did this with WALL-E too, so it's not their first romantic movie. I guess if you want to be clear here, it is their first, focusing on it entirely, but because WALL-E, they focused on it for a little bit of the film, and then they went to outer space and all that. But it's still focused on a robot falling in love with another robot, which was really nice. It was nice, and I really liked it. But I don't know, this one I felt like they focused on it too much, and I just didn't really get into it much. But I still thought it was okay. I think it was all right, but I still didn't care for it as much as WALL-E or the other films that came before it, except Lightyear. Yeah, Lightyear was a freaking disaster. Pretty much everyone hated that movie, and there's people that like it, but it clearly took everything that the original movie did in the 2000s, and not only buried it underneath the dust because it's not available on Disney Plus. Either that or its show. None of them are available on Disney Plus, but it also got rid of a lot of the elements that made that movie so good. So clearly, Pixar's kind of been in a path like it's been dying pretty much, which is kind of a shame because it gave us quite a bit of good movies. A lot of people are saying they have fallen like really badly. I don't know if they've fallen as bad as Disney's other studios. I mean, look at Star Wars and Marvel, which I guess Star Wars is would be Lucasfilm, but it's pretty much a Star Wars property. It's pretty much known as Star Wars at this point, but it's been milked to death, and it's not really. And people are not really happy about it anymore. That's kind of what's happening with like Toy Story for Pixar. But Pixar, I don't know if they're wanting a Toy Story 5. I'm thinking Disney's the one who wants a Toy Story 5 because it's Bob Iger's the one who came back and announced that. So he announced like 3 sequels. And I don't know. I think out of all of them, I think people are more looking forward to like a Zootopia 2 than anything else because there's only 1 film so far. While like Frozen has 2 movies and then Toy Story has 4 movies. So yeah, I don't know. I just gotta say I do feel bad for the Soul not doing very well in the theaters because that was actually a really good movie. It was really good. But I shouldn't say much because I haven't even gone to the theaters to see it. I don't even know if I've been hearing people saying it's not available in a ton of theaters. It's only available in certain theaters. And I only have like 1 theater, I believe. Yeah, 1 theater like that I can really go to that's close to me. I mean, I guess there's one in Fulton too, but I don't even know if they're playing it there. They weren't playing Toy Story. I had to go all the way to St. Louis to watch Toy Story. So I don't know. It ain't really worth it too much in my opinion. Like to go all the way to another city to watch it, and that's like 2 hours away. Actually, maybe more than that. I don't know how long it is, but it's pretty far away where I have a theater I can go to in Jeff and all that. So I don't know, but I gotta say though, yeah, Pixar has definitely been going downhill. They've actually been going downhill since Disney bought them, pretty much. You may be thinking, like, how have they gone downhill since Disney bought them? Well, they've been going down. They've been slowly turning. Basically, they've been slowly, like it slowly was becoming a Disney, company and all that. And you may be thinking, well, they bought out Pixar, so technically it is a Disney company. Yes, but they used to be their own thing. Basically, Disney bought out Pixar, and it was slowly starting to turn into Disney, another Disney property. Because by 2008, they swapped out the intro, the 1995 intro, which, by the way, isn't available on Disney Plus. They pretty much removed it. I've said this before. I know some people might be getting tired of me talking about it, but I'm still pissed off about that because that was the whole reason why they had the original intro in the first place. And a lot of people can agree. Because they barely used it, and that was the whole reason why they gave Toy Story its intro in the first place, because they were trying to make Pixar stand out compared to Disney. I think even Pixar said it themselves. But over time, though, their films started going downhill too. They were going down too. It started off pretty good with like WALL-E, and then they had Up. And then Toy Story 3, but then they started kind of, even Toy Story 3 didn't feel the same as Toy Story 1 and 2, but it still felt like, a Toy Story movie. It still felt really good, and the characters started feeling like themselves. But then they were making, like, Cars 2 and all that, and it started going downhill. They started making sequels to these movies and all that, and they felt kind of unnecessary. Some of them were good, but some of them were unnecessary and all that. I know a lot of people didn't like Finding Dory. I thought the movie was okay, but that's just my opinion. But it still was a very unnecessary movie. Like it didn't really need to exist. And they can make sequels to some of this stuff, but there was originally, they were originally going to have sequels to some of these films, though, anyway. But they were lost in time, is what happened. See, there was going to be a different Toy Story 3. There was going to be a different, Monsters Inc. There was actually going to be a Monsters Inc. 2, not a prequel. There was going to be a Monsters Inc. 2. And I would have loved to see that movie come out, but it got lost in time when they shut down, one of their animation studios. I think it was Circle Animation or something like that. They shut that down, so a lot of these projects got lost in time. And these sequels sounded like they could have been better than the ones we got. But I'm not saying that none of them are really bad, but it sounded like they could have been much better. But we did get Cars and all, so they started turning them into sequels, and then over time, they started people started leaving and all that, and. Yeah, and then that's the thing, and then there started being production problems with some of the movies. I think Brave was one of them. Brave had a production problem. That's why that movie did bad, because it had a production problem. But you could totally see it was starting to slowly become, what it is now, because people were leaving and the film started feeling less and less like Pixar and more or like Disney. And you could say part of it is, because some people have left over time and some people have passed away that worked on Pixar originally, which is true. But the thing is, though, is a lot of them just feel like they've been throwing stuff at your faces with, wokeness and whatnot, which I don't know. I know people don't like to hear that word, but it's kind of true. They kind of like in Toy Story 4, they kind of they tossed Woody aside and all that. They basically they made him not the leader of the toys. They made this doll a toy, which I don't know why they did that, but that kind of probably frustrated some people. It frustrated me because, and I'm a person that usually doesn't mind that stuff too much, but they started doing stuff like that, and it just kept going down the hill, and then Now we're at the current days where Pixar just feels more like a Disney company than anything else. Like the movies don't even feel like they feel a lot like Disney ones. They don't feel like something Pixar would make anymore, which is kind of sad because they used to be their own thing. And I mean they're not all that bad, but they're not as good as they used to be either, and that's kind of what happens. And I think that's probably why like some of these movies are just they're failing. I think people are just giving up on Pixar, and all that, and Disney just looking at Pixar as just another studio that exists. But I'm afraid they're gonna just throw it under the bus like they would Blue Sky Studios. As soon as they bought Blue Sky Studios, like 2 years later, when they bought Fox and got Blue Sky Studios, they shut it down. They didn't even sell it all; they just shut it down. All the employees were out of a job, and that ended up kind of biting them in the behind down the road because now they're going and working at other studios, actually making some good movies. I mean, Nimona was a canceled Blue Sky project, and that's kicking their butts. So I don't know. I mean, these people could probably go to other Pixar. These Pixar employees could go to other studios, but I don't really want them to shut Pixar down. Pixar is still an iconic studio. I always prefer. I think I prefer DreamWorks over. I shouldn't say always. I don't know. I haven't really seen. I need to see a lot of DreamWorks movies still, but so far I'm thinking DreamWorks looks better than Pixar. But Pixar still has some really good movies. They had Monsters Inc. They had Finding Nemo, The Incredibles, and etc. But I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. But it's sad that movies currently like Soul and all that are just like they're not doing very good in the theaters, and I think people are just kind of, I don't know, people may be just done with Pixar. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think they still have pretty good movies, but I don't know. I guess the last few have not been really that great. But I don't know. I mean, Turning Red wasn't like, it wasn't bad, but I don't know. It was all right. Like it was. I don't know. I mean, I may say it could probably be the least good out of the three, but then we had Lightyear though, which was definitely bad. And then you have not Inside Out. We have Elemental. Yeah, that's what it was. Elemental, and that's not. Like, Elemental's not even like Elemental didn't get well received reviews either. So I don't know, but we do have Inside Out 2 coming out, so I don't know. It could be a good movie, it could not be, I don't know. But I don't even think that's going to even matter anyway, because look at Blue Sky Studios. Look at what they did with Blue Sky Studios. Blue Sky Studios it had very good movies. It had some that were not as good, but a lot of them are really good and well received by critics and made a lot of money. But they threw it under the bus too. And you could argue, well, that was when Chapek was in charge. Well, Chapek I don't know, Chapek could have had something to do with some of this stuff, but I do know that even with Iger in there, we've had stuff that got shut down and all that too. Disney had their own video game company. They shut that down. I think it was called Disney Infinity or something. They shut that down. They shut Club Penguin down, I think they're shutting down Hulu now. Hulu's getting shut down too, so Hulu's getting merged with Disney Plus. It's already on Disney Plus, but the app still exists. But at this point, it just feels like Disney Plus at this point. It just feels like it doesn't even feel like it needs to exist because it's just going to be Disney content. So Disney's going to be paying for, all that anyway, but I don't know, but I don't know what to really say there. I just think, it's kind of annoying to have, Disney buy up properties and just throw them in the bus. I'm hoping if they do just give up on Pixar, hopefully they just sell off. I highly doubt they're gonna do that. I think they're just gonna shut it down. But I feel like Paramount or like someone else could buy out Pixar. Heck, I think Sony Animation could probably buy out Pixar. I mean, I guess their animation movies aren't really the best either, but I mean, with them being, if they get bought out, maybe some of those good animators over at Pixar could go to the Sony and all that. I don't know what to really say there, but I know that I know technically Paramount is also not doing very good either. Like, there's talk they could get sold off to someone else too, so I don't really know. But, I'm gonna go ahead and probably just let things go from here. I hope that Pixar gets better. I doubt that, I don't know, I'm thinking they're gonna, that's not like they're really that bad compared to Disney's other properties, but I think they still have some control over things over at Pixar. I think that was the original agreement. They would have some control, which is maybe why they didn't get as bad as others. But you could definitely tell it's definitely not as good as it used to be. Their movies aren't, and I don't know, with the Toy Story 5 on its way, yeah, I don't even know what to think about that one, but and they did have an original film that came out too. That's supposed to come out before Inside Out 2, but they pushed it back. They're blaming the writer's strike and all that, but this time it's not the writer's strike because they already had a trailer for it and everything, and they just canceled it. I mean, even if the movie's not good, it was an original property. They didn't cancel it. They pushed it back to 2025. So I don't know, but also I forgot to bring this up before I do let this go. I forgot to bring this up. This is something that's kind of stupid here, but if you guys are like watching like commercials, like you guys have commercials and all that, like on YouTube or something, you guys will see that they had a trailer for something called A Real Bug's Life. And the reason why I want to bring this up is because A Real Bug's Life is because it has the same looking title. Like it looks exactly the same. It's all yellow and just like the A Bug's Life movie. But it also has it. Basically, they also have it like on the basically the way they title it too. It's like the way they word it. It's A Real Bug's Life. So it makes it sound like it's supposed to be a live action version of A Bug's Life. Not saying I would want a live action A Bug's Life because I don't want to see insects and all of that. But the fact that, like, real life and I don't know. I mean, some insects look beautiful, but a lot of them would not look the best. But that's what they titled it. It's basically a show on I guess National Geographic, and I watched a little bit of it. It doesn't look that interesting. It looks all right, but it has like someone narrating the whole thing. It makes it throw it a little bit off and like putting like puns and stuff in there. I don't know, it just doesn't seem as interesting, but yeah, I saw a little bit of that, and yeah, I'm not really the biggest fan of it, but maybe other people might be, I don't know, but the fact that it has, it's called A Real Bug's Life, it's worded like that, it has the same title of that also pisses me off, because basically they kind of just stole Pixar's kind of title thing a little bit. It's like if you make a movie like if you call it, let's call it A Real Toy Story, and another studio makes A Real Toy Story, uses the same font and whatnot. They make the same font and all that, and the same coloring and all that, and they basically just call it a day. Then it feels like it's and all that. And I'm sure Disney would freaking sue those people. So I really don't get why they did that. But yeah, I saw that. It definitely pisses me off. But But I saw like trailers of it, and I'm like, is this supposed to be is this supposed to be a Bug's Life? Because I was looking at it, it's like, are they now making live action movies of that stuff? But nope, it's just a TV show. But I thought it looked a little bit off for it to be the movie A Bug's Life. But I don't know. But I better go ahead and let things go from here. This is actually took a little bit longer than I thought, but hopefully Pixar will stay in there, or someone else could buy them out. But I have a feeling Disney's just gonna throw them under the bus and just shut them down, which would be a bad idea, because then they're gonna lose more viewers. People are gonna be more pissed off. People are already getting pissed off with Disney's choices lately, and they're gonna start getting pissed off more if they shut Pixar down. But I don't know. I think they're pretty much shutting Hulu down and all that, and they're merging it with Disney Plus. So I don't know. And you're still paying Disney like $10. You're still paying them $10 and all that for Hulu and all that, and other studios are taking their stuff off there, so they're basically paying them extra money for like nothing. So I don't know, but I'm gonna go ahead and just let things go from here. See you all next time. Bye bye.